A married couple has 12 children. The husband comes home tired after work, and there is noise, shouting, and fighting at home. The wife complains to him. Do you see what they do? The most inveterate of them is cholia. Cholia, the husband is surprised. It turns out we also have cholia. There is a guy at the checkout and puts 5 bottles of red, 5 bottles of white, 2 of pink, 4 champagne, 1 martini, 2 cognacs, 3 vodkas, and at the very end 7 bags of cat food on the conveyor belt. The guy behind asks, "Is it the cat's birthday?" The Jew has served for a couple of weeks and asks for leave. It is not allowed. They tell him, "Perform some kind of feat, and if I bring an Arab tank, that will do, the tank will do." The next morning the Jew brings an Arab tank, and without further ado they issue him leave documents. "Go ahead," they say. But then someone asks, "How did you manage to bring the tank?" Very simple. Got on a tank, drove to the Arabs and shouted, "Who wants a vacation? Let's swap cars." Quote. Village. Night. In the hut, an old father lies down on the stove, almost falls asleep, but through his slumber he hears the young people tumbling downstairs. The old man, falling asleep, chuckles to himself. "Ah, youth, youth, and now they're whispering downstairs. Let's do it standing up. Okay, let's do it. Now let's do it sitting down. Let's do it. And now with a jack. Great. And now with a candy bobber. Exactly. Whoops, the old man was even thrown up. What's going on? Never heard of it. Let me at least take a look." He bent down, peered, couldn't see anything. Darkness poked out, couldn't see any further. Couldn't see any further. He bent and bent until he flew off the shelf. The noise filled the whole house. He grabbed the pots, saucepans, and cooking pots along the way. He got up somehow. He scratches his side and tries to crawl back in. At this point, his daughter asks in fear, "What happened, Daddy?" "Nothing happened, daughter. They just need to, like normal people." 2 godfathers are sitting in a village, drinking for some unknown reason. Then one of them suggests, "Come, let's draw lots. If you guess which hand I'm holding the bottle in behind my back, we'll keep drinking. If not, we'll quit." Quote. The godfather thinks for a long time and replies, "My left hand." "Hey, come on, godfather, think. A Chukchi is playing checkers with his dog. A geologist comes up to them and says, "What a smart dog." And the Chukchi says to him in an offended voice, "Why smart? We're 2 to 2. Quote. The doorbell rings in the doctor's apartment. The doctor opens the door and sees a skeleton on the threshold. That's how doctors always mumble. They wait until the last moment before going to the doctor. The young man was on holiday in Italy and met a local babe. He fell head over heels in love. Soon she told him she was pregnant. "I need to go home, and you go have the baby. Once you give birth, I'll divorce my wife and come to you." Quote. "How can I tell you about this so that my wife doesn't find out? You just send me a telegram with one word, spaghetti, and I'll understand everything." Quote. He left, and 9 months later his wife calls him at work and says that she received a telegram about spaghetti. He comes home, takes the telegram, reads it and faints. It says, spaghetti, spaghetti, spaghetti and spaghetti. 2 with a sausage, 2 without. 2 godfathers decided to slaughter a bull. One holds it by the horns, and the other hits it with a sledgehammer. Strike! The bull stands. Another strike. The bull stands as if nothing had happened. Then what is the godfather holding? And he says, "Come, if you hit me on the head one more time, I won't be able to hold the bull." A husband and wife are sunbathing on the beach. The husband, a thin man of short stature, noticed that his wife couldn't take her eyes off a large, muscular, handsome man sitting nearby. Unable to bear it, the husband turns to his wife. "You shouldn't stare at him, my dear. Remember, our neighbor has a 2-car garage, and he keeps his bike there." "Why are you offended at Nikolai Petrovich? He said that I have beautiful children. On the contrary, we should be grateful for that. But you should have heard the surprise with which he said it. When I was young, said the famous doctor, I wanted to become an artist. Why did you change your mind and choose medicine? In painting, all mistakes are visible, but in medicine they are buried along with the sick. A Georgian got a job at a rodent extermination company. Came to the allocated area, rings the doorbell and asks, got a mouse? Which Misha? Sveta's brother. Which Sveta's brother? Sezia's sister. At the State Farm pig farm, a young tractor driver was awkwardly backing up. Well, a huge trailer with manure fell on its side. The boy runs around, fussing. The livestock technician says to him, what are you worrying about here? Let's have a smoke, think about it, how and what. No time, says the tractor driver. Semyonich will swear. Oh, come on, let's have a smoke. The livestock technician hands him a pack. They smoke. That's how it is. You'll be suffering here for half a day now. You need to go and eat, otherwise, look, you'll be left without lunch with this manure. I can't, we need to hurry, otherwise Semyonich will get angry. Okay, let's go. They have a hearty snack. The livestock technician takes out a bottle of alcohol. Well, let's have a small one. But I can't, Semyonich will find out. He'll go crazy. This is nonsense. Nos, you'll have time for everything. We poured and had a small one. We drank. Now it would be good to make it worse with some beer. But I'd better go, otherwise Semyonich is very scared will start screaming. Where is this Semyonich of yours? He is still there. He was crushed by a trailer. In a driving school in Georgia, a candidate for a driver's license is taking an exam. The inspector explains the traffic situation. You are driving in a car along a narrow road. On the left is a very high mountain, on the right is a very steep shaved road. Suddenly, a beautiful girl is on the road, and next to her is a very scary old man. Who are you going to crush? Of course, the old woman. You fool, you need to press the brake. There is a scandal in the office. They fell in love with the secretary right in the middle of the workday. The director gathered all the men and menacingly asked who was smart enough to fall in love with the secretary right in her office. The men looked at each other, their eyes bulged, but remained silent. The director could not stand it and called the secretary. Come here and tell me who it was. The secretary looks at the crowd and says, that guy in the black suit. Young man, it's Mikolich, he's 70 years old, I don't believe you. Then Mikolich comes forward and says, well, maybe we should repeat it, so that the doubts go away. A deputy came to see his mistress. They had just undressed, and then the doorbell rang. The deputy hid in the closet, sat there and heard his mistress's husband looking for him in the apartment. Quote, he'll find me any minute, the deputy prayed to God. Lord, save me, the bandit husband of my mistress will find me, he'll definitely kill me. Make me a little mosquito, so that I can fly out the window. I promise to atone for all my sins, just save me. And then the voice of God was heard, pull yourself 3 times at the end and you'll become a mosquito. The deputy pulled himself at the end and became a mosquito, flew out the window and sat on a tree branch. Thank you, Lord, for saving me from death. However, birds fly around and can eat me. Help me become human again. After all, I'm a deputy, I don't want to be a mosquito. And the voice of God was heard again. Pull yourself by the end 7 times and you will become a man. The deputy pulled himself by the end, but nothing happened. God, help me, nothing works. And the voice was heard. Ivan Stepanovich, not only are you sleeping at a parliamentary session, but you are also jerking off.